welcome to our inaugural edition of
TNT.
Sounds like dynamite because it is. We are looking to have a great time today. I'm Tabatha Pittman, and this is my co-host,
Tara Isaac.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How
you
are
look
you?
beautiful. I'm great.
And
thank
so
you.
do you. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. We have been talking about this for like 2 years.
Longer?
Maybe
Possibly.
longer, 3, possibly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
2020 and COVID didn't really count.
No. Yeah, that's a cancel year.
Yeah, we canceled that year. So 3 years now, running total. So
Yeah, we talked about it because it led because we were having conversations.
right.
And, you know, we recognized a need there to share this conversation.
Yes. And there's so many things that we talk about
Yes.
that we can give life to other people. We're hoping to encourage you and motivate you to get out and take some action. So
And
that you-
Tabitha, I will say this right up front from the start. You motivate and encourage me.
Aw.
Your words, your prayers, like I've said before, just make my heart happy and lift me and give me that energy to keep going.
Now, I can't be crying on here.
No, don't cry. No.
Okay.
No, you look too beautiful. Don't cry. Don't cry.
My lashes, y'all. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Those are the Lamborghini lashes.
Hey, girl. Hey. Tara has been my running buddy. We met at a job, in 2017?
Possibly.
Yeah, something like that. And we have been like just clicking on all cylinders. Tara, to me, embodies everything: fashion, wisdom. This girl is savvy, and she is a bad girl in the world of accounting. So I want to let you know she will get your numbers and your edges together. So be prepared if she just says something off the cuff that just motivates you, makes you laugh. And on top of all that, she's beautiful.
Oh.
And so I just love her. She knows I love her. And we keep each other lifted up. So
It was instant love. I'll always remember the first time I saw you and met you. How rare is that you remember the first time you meet your friend? I remember when I saw you in the hallway, and I absolutely loved Tabitha because she was beautiful. She was dressed to the nines, gorgeous pantsuit. I remember your outfit. It was a pantsuit, and you had heels. It's so nice to see women wearing heels.
yes.
I love,
yes.
and
All
you just look
things
great.
feminine.
And I smiled, and you smiled back. I'm like, yay, I have a friend at work.
And we were instantly buddies, like
Instant. Yeah.
going off to lunch, doing stuff.
There's
right?
Instacart, and then there's Instant Buddies.
Insta friends, honey.
Insta
Okay, Insta friends. There it is. And so today we're going to talk because it is officially May, and we know that May is like all things spring and blooms. But May is also the month that we celebrate moms and all of the mom figures in our life, right? The wonderful women who have made an impact on us so that we are encouraged to move on and hopefully be trailblazers to other things in life. So, I'll just start with that. First, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers.
Absolutely.
all
Happy
of the-
Mother's Day.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day to you,
Yes,
Tabitha.
and thank you. And
You are
happy
welcome.
Mother's Day to you,
Thank
Mama
you.
Auntie Tara.
Mama Auntie.
Tata.
Auntie Tata.
Auntie Tata. So, because I believe there are so many women who have an impact on my life and on that have impacted us, I'll say, because I'll let you tell about your story. But there are a lot of women who, there's a lady, and obviously I guess I just kind of been surrounded by Taras all my life. I had a Tara who was my 4th grade elementary teacher, and her name is Tara Dyer. There's another Tara who has passed on, and she was my drill team coach, and just phenomenal woman. She didn't have any children. She ended up having like a heart attack, and her mom still goes to the church in my hometown in Ohio.
Wow.
But I tell you what, she was just so phenomenal. She was always encouraging us. She was always teaching us. I think she went to an HBCU, historically Black college, and so it was like some of the stuff that growing up in kind of like suburban America, I would not have otherwise known, right? But she taught us all the little drill team steps. I can remember her, like it would be so blazing hot outside in Ohio, and we would be in the summertime practicing drills for the Labor Day parade, which we walked. I mean, I was like 10, 12 years old, so I'm not really complaining, but it was
Sorry,
like,
you can complain.
we were like, Virginia Wolf, Big Bad Virginia Wolf, watch out, Virginia Wolf. That part. And you're just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. But you don't recognize the discipline that they're instilling in you, right? To continue something on, even when it doesn't feel like the greatest of a situation. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't really want to be out here sweating,
Right. We don't
practicing
realize we're
drills.
developing that, like you say, discipline, the
Yes.
skills to
Yeah.
achieve success in this life, because life is up and down, and
That's right.
you got to be disciplined and focused.
Yep. And I think that builds our resilience, right?
Yes, that is
Because
it.
on another episode, we'll talk about the resilience, and maybe even on this episode, about just the resilience that you and I have encountered in our lives, right? That makes us say, we got to talk about this. We got to tell
In the
the
short time
world.
that we've known each other, it feels like a lifetime
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think that that's the sisterhood that it draws, right? When we start saying, hey, I can appreciate you and compliment you. I'm not in competition with you. And when I'm not competing with you, I can collaborate with you.
Yes.
And we can actually create something great like this.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
we're sisters.
We're sisters.
So,
I want you to succeed.
amen.
I believe in your greatness.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to have to write that down. Wait a minute.
I'll write it down for you. But I love how you go back to the Taras in your life and
Mm-hmm.
the teachers and the coaches and all that. And I think about it takes me back to high school, and I wasn't the best student on earth. I didn't have the GPA and whatnot. I joined the business club that was led by Mrs. Harris up in Flint, Michigan. And there was another lady, her name escapes me, but I know Mrs. Collins,
Mm-hmm.
two great ladies. I joined the business club, and there was a competition called Entrepreneur Individual. And here's me,
that sounds
my
good.
grades, I didn't have chords or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a high reading level. If anything, I did learn to read early. So that was
That's good for comprehension, right?
comprehension, absolutely. And so we competed, and we were at the county level. And my competition, I thought, I'm talking to Mrs. Harris about it, and she didn't think twice, but she encouraged me. Go ahead, no doubts, because if you don't place, it's okay. We try.
Right.
And here we are. There were 7 competitors, and the top 2 get to go to the state level, or I'm sorry, top 3, however it is, and they're calling one by one off. And I'm looking at Mrs. Harris, who's sitting in the stands. We're looking at each other, smiling. Hey, we're still up. Hey, at least I wasn't the first one to be called.
Right, right.
We get down to 5, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her. We're making faces like, okay. 4. Hey, what's going on?
Wow.
3, not me. So I actually won my competition.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. We're as shocked as can be, and just dumbfounded. But I found something there. And what I learned was that discipline. I applied myself so hard, didn't know how to prepare for this, but I just did everything I could and won. And at the state level, we went. And when they caught in the top 2, at the state level, the top 2 go to nationals.
Wow.
So when my competition was announced, I'll never forget what the judge of my competition was at the state level. She said, you did good, and there were other people that did really good as well. So that gave me hope.
Right.
But I tell you, here you are in the big auditorium, that big room at the Rensen in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
I had to leave. I had to step because I could not handle that pressure of not knowing, or if I didn't make it. And I actually placed second and made it to the nationals.
Holy smoke.
And it just was such a huge, huge thing. I remember Mrs. Norris, she was our co-op coordinator, and she had gotten me another great lady in my life. She helped me get my first job at Workers' Comp Court, and that's a whole nother story we can talk about there. But I came back into the room. She was looking for me. She said, "You made it," and I hugged her. There was a gentleman there too that was with our school. I don't remember his name, but all 3 of us are hugging and crying because I wasn't the typical person you would think would make that competition and place and go to nationals, but it was so.
It was meant for you. And I think what that says is that when there's a woman who believes in you, when there is someone who believes in you, it pushes you to excel, right?
Yes.
And I believe we have an onus, and we're almost charged to make sure that people also know that we believe in them, right?
Absolutely.
For the next generations of young ladies, like the young lady here at the station, Amanda. I told her the other day, she said, well, I said, well, where are you going to undergrad? Because she had on a Chippewa shirt. And she said, well, I said, are you a Central Michigan student? She said, no, all of my family is. I was like, oh, okay, what school are you going to? And she said, Oakland University. I said, oh, great. That's where I went to undergrad. And she was like, yeah. She was like, I like it. I was like, it's an awesome school. I was like, do you know where you want to go to grad school? And so instantly my mindset is to place the seed in her head
Sure.
that you need to go to grad school.
I see it. Even coming here, she's yearning for that encouragement, that lifting. And you're doing that. That's what you do.
And that's what we're charged to do, right?
Yes.
For every young woman or boy, for, young
Absolutely.
man that comes in our presence. You don't know what people have gone through that requires that push. And I believe in divine intersections, right? That God puts people in our pathway that we are supposed to encourage and push. And it's your voice that gives wind to their sails.
Yes.
And so that to me is powerful. Like, wow. And so these women, your Mrs. Harris, my Mrs. Dyer, it's like, whoa. And so these are women who were not our mother in a traditional sense, right? But they certainly embodied motherly functions in our life,
Yes.
So I think that's just awesome. Like that to me is what this is really all about. There are so many women, there are so many teachers that come into our life and they may not be at school.
Right. It's every day. It could be a complete stranger that'll lift you up, that'll say the right word when you need it.
That's it.
And, life is better when you're lifting people up.
That's right.
Even they might not appreciate or know why you're doing what you're doing. But when they realize it, they remember.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's so powerful, too, because it's like I've literally walked into stores and been drawn to the cashier who looks totally stressed out, right? And you're like, she needs a word of encouragement, just say something nice. Tell her it's okay to take her time, I know there are 20 people behind me, but I'm standing in front of you right now and you don't have to rush. Just take your time. I'd rather you do it right than to rush through it,
Tabatha, you are a gift.
Look, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I believe that. But I believe that we're supposed to encourage people like this. We're supposed to be that woman that somebody looks at and 20 years from now, they're talking about us on a podcast. They're talking about us on a TV show. We are the Mrs. Tara. We are the Mrs. Pittman, Mrs. Tabatha who encouraged somebody. We're like, oh my goodness, I remember listening to that one episode of TNT and they were talking about, and I was encouraged that they said XYZ. And so.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yep.
Passing it on, lift someone up.
Lift
something
somebody.
good.
That's right. That's right. And I think that's a perfect segue because we both have shared, the story of my mom. I know the story of your mom, but I think it's especially given Mother's Day. This is a great time to share our stories about the women who actually gave us life, right?
Yes.
And the resilience of those women. Those women are the ones who, in the face of adversity, show themselves to persevere.
Yeah. When it was too easy to give up.
That's right. To persist and be the overcomers that we know as mothers. So, so I'm going to let you lead this story because I love the story of your mom. I love the story of everything about her. So please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. So my mom, Yona, most people know her name is Yonia, but a lot of people call her Yona. If you know her, she'll probably call you darling because that's just how she is. She's
Love it.
She's a feisty little gal, but going back to her marriage, which was tough. The first year of marriage for my parents was great. Things went downhill after that. Actually, this is a very personal part. My dad had encouraged my mom to go and abort the child, which was me.
Wow.
My mom was on her way and she just stopped and said, no, I'm not going to do it. And here we are today. I've got my mom with me. And she doesn't have to worry about anything.
Amen.
But so here we are. We immigrated from the Middle East to the U.S. legally, worked hard. My mom, bless her heart, even with a marriage, an abusive marriage,
Mhm.
in every which way possible. She was a seamstress. That's how she survived. She was able to land a job in the factory and working hard. Those are tough jobs.
Mhm.
She, by the time she retired, she had rotator cuff tears and whatnot. But
Wow.
because she had 4 kids, she hustled and worked hard and kept things going. And
Mhm.
I can honestly tell you, growing up, I didn't feel, you hear about so many single moms struggling and, I pray for them. I know it's hard.
Mhm.
My mom, I never realized that with her. I
Wow.
didn't, my life wasn't shortchanged in any way or form. We may not have taken vacations or this and that till later in life,
Right.
but I'll tell you what, she made sure we had food and clothing and this and that and a home.
Mhm.
And the thing was, she sacrificed
That's
her
right.
life. She sacrificed, you know, things to lift her up or to do this because she was thinking about her kids. And that's
Mhm.
all she wanted. She wanted her kids more than anything to be okay. And that's where we are. But she did it. She brought all her brothers and sisters to different parts of the world, get them out of war legally.
Wow.
She put in her own money. She just did everything right. She saved everyone's soul, gave everyone opportunities. That's the beauty of my mother, and now I just take pleasure in her little tantrums here and there. But
Mhm.
she really just hustled and worked hard and provided. And she loved to sing. She loves singing and dancing and music.
Mhm.
Music, even when I was sick for a while, she just we made sure we went out every week, listen to music because she always says music is the best
That's
therapy,
right.
and she would sing songs, and that's how she got through life too. Was
Wow.
music and praying and church,
Mhm.
and that's what lifted her up and kept her strong and going. And
Wow.
she, blessed many people with that.
I think that is so awesome
Thank
because,
you.
like when you think of, Miss Yona, think about all the other people that she touched, right? Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting all choked up over here.
No, no.
But all of the other people that she touched, there's if she was that impactful with you and your siblings, right? Then think about the people at her job. Think about the people, even your neighbors, I'm sure,
Yeah,
right? Because people like her have a contagious spirit. I always say that confidence is contagious, but so is joy,
yeah,
so is love.
yes,
All of those things are also contagious. And you know that someone who embodies those things, they give them freely.
yeah.
So it's you don't have to ask, did she go to work acting like this? Of course she did.
Even when it
Because
was
it's who
tough, yeah,
she
yeah.
is.
Absolutely. You know what's funny, Tabitha? I just remember too, around the holidays, she would cook and she would fix a plate and have me take it to our elderly neighbors that were
Mhm.
alone. And now I appreciate that more so because I was like, oh, do I have to go do this? But I would go to the neighbors. I remember neighbors, and one of them would cry, and, I'm all alone, nobody, And I think about our elderly people today,
Mhm.
but my mom was instilling that in me.
That's right.
And but no, but she's fun. She's been through a lot. You wouldn't think it, you wouldn't know it,
Yep.
but that's the spirit.
That's the spirit to have, right? That's
Yeah.
the spirit of a mom, right?
Mhm.
Because she teaches not only her children, but everybody really the characteristics of our Heavenly Father. So
Yep.
I won't get into that today, but
That's gonna be wonderful when you do.
that's right.
That's what it's about.
But I love that. I absolutely love that she just shared it with everyone and she taught you some of those core values that says, look, don't just look after yourself.
Yes.
Look after the people around you. This is your community and we're not much more without community, right?
Right.
Like this it takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village just to be. And I think if COVID hasn't taught us anything else, it's taught us the value of community and family and fellowship, right? Like we need each other.
Absolutely. We are in this
We're
together.
in this together.
Yes.
Yep. And so, I think that that's a good segue to talk about my
Yes,
mama.
please. Let's talk about
so
mama.
so happy birthday to Miss Yona and happy birthday to Miss Marilyn, which is
Yes.
my mommy. And my mom had me when she was 16 years old,
God
right?
bless her.
So
God bless
yeah,
her.
and like you, where it could have been an easier struggle for her to abort or, all of the other options that she maybe had and she chose to have me. And so I'm thankful for that, that here I
Me
am.
too. Thank you for blessing me
Thank
with
you.
my
That's
beautiful friend
right.
Tabatha.
Thank you for my Tara. Thank you for making the decision to say yes to life, right?
Hmm.
And it was like one of those things where when she's told me the story, my mom is from Alabama, so that's where I was born. And she literally was like, you know, um, my mom was one of 12 kids. So it was a lot of them. And
Yeah.
for her to be 16 and, having another child and adding them to, because she's like child number 7.
Mm.
So she's like smack dab in the middle. And so there are 6 younger siblings. And
My mom's one of 12, I think. One of 12 or 13, I forget.
really,
Yeah.
so she's got a lot of siblings too.
Yeah.
Big family. So, kind of, that feeling where it's like, oh my goodness, there's so many people. Um, but it was like she still chose to say, yes, yes, I'm going to have this child. And as soon as she turned 18, one of my uncles had moved to Ohio already and he had gotten married. And so he came for the summer that she turned 18 and she was like, I'm out of here. And so hence me growing up in Ohio and not having that good old Alabama accent.
Mhm.
But it was that seeing her work like your mom, my mom cleaned,
Mhm.
and just had a cleaning business and service, and she was doing stuff, worked at manufacturing facilities, right? And I didn't know this until like some years ago, maybe in the last 5 or 10 years, that she drove a forklift.
Wow.
And like my mom is a little woman, like your
She's
mom is
cute.
little.
Yeah, she is. She's adorable. I love the picture of her when she's got by the food that she's prepared.
Mhm.
And I'm
Oh
just
my
imagining her in a
goodness.
forklift.
Oh, I know.
Love
That's what
it.
I said. I was like, "Oh my goodness, mom, you drive a forklift, really?" And then they have daughters like me and you,
Yeah.
right? Who we see their sacrifice all those years, and they push us to say, you know what? Don't abandon your education.
Yeah.
Do it afraid, do it by faith, whatever it takes, just do it. And so, um, that's what it was. And like her, like your mom, she was always telling us, help your neighbor, help your sister. My mom's biggest thing, and it's kind of a thing in my family, is that charity starts at home. And so I couldn't treat my friend Tara better than I treated my sister
Mm.
Tears, you know, because then I would be in trouble because charity starts at home and
Yep.
then spreads abroad. So how you treat these people in this house has to be the creme de la creme because now you're setting the mold for how you're going to
You're living
treat
it.
everybody else. Yep. And so it was the same thing, where she would cook and cook and cook, and all the kids in the neighborhood would be at my house.
Isn't that amazing how our moms did it all?
Yes.
I'm blown away by that.
And with so little.
Yes.
Like my mom was a single mom, and it was like, oh
Mm.
my goodness, what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, and it would be like a pot of spaghetti, and I promise that was like the never-ending pot of spaghetti. It was like everybody could get some spaghetti. There was always going to be spaghetti at least once a week, especially whenever. And I think there was some type of coordination with the mothers because there were a few different single mothers in the neighborhood, and so it would be like, okay, so and so's cooking this night, so and so's cooking that night, but
That's
you knew
beautiful.
there was going to
Yeah.
be community of people and children at the house. So,
That's what I think everyone's yearning for.
hmm and I feel like we're getting back to a place like that where for me, I love the baked cakes. I don't need
I know I
cake.
saw your pictures you texted me.
Sweet potato pound cake, my fave. My kids love it.
It was gorgeous. It was too beautiful to eat. That was short lived.
I don't know if I could say too beautiful to eat, but it was very pretty.
Very
and
tasty.
it was very tasty. But I'm telling you, sis, that woman, she can cook. And
Mhm.
she still cooks. She still cares for people. I went down in March to see my mom and stepdad, and it was literally like, my stepdad loves my pancakes.
Mhm.
And so she was like, oh, I think his name is Mr. Jimmy, her next door neighbor, is widowed, right? She was like, how many pancakes are you making? I had bought a big bag from Sam's Club, right? So I'm like, well, I got this huge bag. I can make as many as you want me to make. And so I made him a big freezer bag full of pancakes.
Aw.
And, she let them, cool or whatever. And she took them over and said, hey, here's a hot plate of pancakes. And then here's a freezer bag. So you can just take them out individually when you want to
That's
eat them or
wonderful.
whatever. And I was like, Mom, that was so nice of you. Like, Of course,
I
I,
love it.
I cooked them, but it was just the fact that she wanted to share
And she's thinking of
and
him.
thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. Make sure he's got something.
Yep, because she knows he's there,
Yeah.
by himself and everything. And, even with, my t-shirts and books and stuff, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, Miss Mary next door, she loves to read. And I'm going to go and do her flower bed. And so when I go over there and do the flower bed, I'm going to order one of your shirts and take it to her for Mother's Day. I'm going to plant the flowers for her and give her a t-shirt." And I was like, "Okay, that's great." Like, and they're still giving. I know you were telling me even about your new neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
like, and your mom is still saying, "You know what? Let's make sure she comes over for dinner."
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about when you're talking about how your mom taking care of the neighbor and
Mhm.
making sure he had pancakes.
Mhm.
Here's my mom. She's making sure we've got a new neighbor. She invited her over for dinner, but we also have another neighbor. She was literally taking him dinner and lunch every day, making sure because
Wow.
he had fallen and
Mhm.
just trying to make sure he's got food.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking about that about your mother. I was like, wow, that's so wonderful. Here she is, you
Taking
know,
care of my dad, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the other neighbor getting the flower bed done. Who
Mhm.
does that?
Yep. But
Your mom.
that's your these
Your mom.
our
Our
moms,
moms.
right? Our moms do these types of things.
Yeah.
Our moms say it's not just about me, it's not just about you,
Yes.
right? It's important that we love everyone regardless of race, ethnicity, right? Like, people listening to us might not know that I'm from Alabama and, you're from the Middle East. But does that matter right now? What matters is that we have a bond of love
Mhm.
that calls us sisters.
Amen.
And
Yep.
we've been rocking like this. My brother would say rocking like a cut off stocking for 4 years, right? Almost 5 years
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
And yeah, and I mean, like, this is what it's about. It's
Yes.
about saying, who cares about this aesthetic stuff, right? Like, I love Tara's hair. Y'all got to see it. But it's not about the hair. It's not about the lashes. It's about the personality. It's about the love in your heart that says, "I
Yes.
want to help you. And you know what? If you'll accept my help, I'd be willing to give the shirt off my back."
Amen.
And we got that from our moms.
Yes. And you hit it right on the head too when you said earlier it starts at home.
Hmm.
And that's so important. And that's what they did for us. They started it at home for us.
Amen.
And here we are.
Yep. So, what can we tell our listeners about really taking value and appreciation for the mamas in their life? Because, it doesn't necessarily just have to be your biological person, right? It could be the Miss Harris or
Mhm.
the
It
Miss
could
Tara, or.
it could be anybody. It could be a teacher. It could be someone you work with, someone, just everyday person you come across.
Hmm.
It can be anybody that has that maternal.
That's right. Flow, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they can lift you up.
Yep.
Um, so that,
So, how can we tell them? How can we encourage them to maybe go the extra mile to show somebody else love, right?
mm,
Because our moms made sure that we did that.
yeah.
They made sure that we were taking food to the neighbors.
Mhm.
They made sure that we, looked out for our little sister and brother. I
Yeah.
know you have younger siblings, and so do I. And so, what do we tell the next generation about looking out for the next man, the next woman, so that they still embody community?
Right, right. You could your own kind words, your smile, something as simple as a smile
Hmm.
can lift someone up. Here's a perfect example about saying something that can change someone and lift them up. So, was it about possibly a month ago? I started walking. With COVID and everything,
Hmm.
I've packed on some insulation.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll call it insulation.
Installation sounds good to me. I would use that.
Yes, yes, definitely. I'm insulated. So here we are walking at the park, and my sister walks a lot faster than me. I may saunter, but I was trying to
Mhm,
walk. I mean,
mhm,
hey,
that's right.
I'm not gonna pull a Carl Lewis here. For those of you that know Carl Lewis, I love track and field.
Me too.
My
Yes.
older siblings, my brother and my sister were in track and field, but it was Flojo, God rest her soul.
Hey, yes, that one.
She was
Mhm.
great. But so, anyways, my sister's walking a lot faster. I'm walking. There's us and this kid's on his bike riding by, little kid, probably less than
Mhm.
10, and he looked at me and said, "You can do this."
Wow.
And it touched my heart. And I told him, I said, as he cycled by, I said, "You don't know how much I needed to hear that,"
Oh my goodness.
and I truly did. So, to your question, Start with a smile. Just say something positive. Tell someone they look pretty. Maybe they need to hear that. I needed to hear that. And this little kid told me that. And it just, it got me going again. And we have to learn how to stir ourselves up. But here we're talking about stirring other people up.
That's right.
A smile, a kind word. I think about you and the clerk, and you were encouraging her. Who knows what kind of stuff she was going through, but you were there at that divine moment to lift her up.
Wow. Sis, that was good. And I think the innocence of it all, right?
Yes. He wasn't trying to be funny or goofy. It was so sincere the way he said it. And it just made me smile and laugh. And
out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes, yeah. And who knew? I started walking a lot faster than my sister.
Hey, that's what counts. No, but seriously, I think it's those things, right? I think it's having a pure heart and telling someone something genuine that they need in that moment, or you feel that they need, right?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to say something encouraging, because people, sometimes don't know how to receive something good words. People need to, because they've been hearing bad things, negative things. Well, let's change it.
That's right. Give them something positive. One of the things that I like to do, and this will be my positive, I guess, to pass on, is that I love when I get great customer service. You know this about me already. I will call the manager over, and sometimes I make the waitress or waiter a little nervous, because I'm going to be the person who calls the manager when I get good service. Yeah, they're like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. I just need to speak to the manager. And when I tell that manager, I don't care if it's at a fast food restaurant or if we're sitting it out and we like 5-star food. Hey.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Just saying. But regardless of the situation, call the manager and say when that person has treated you well, when you've gotten good customer service, because I feel like people always focus on negative customer service, right? But no one reverse it. So let's reverse the curse. Let's reverse it. Let's put it in reverse. Yes. And let's start focusing on something positive. When you tell that manager at the fast food restaurant that his employee just embodied excellent customer service, let me tell you, it changes things. It changes things for that stressful job, right? Because whether they're fast food or 5-star dining, food industry is pretty stressful.
Yeah.
So for them to get a compliment on somebody that, they know is working hard or whatever, right? It's going to boost the personality or the day for the waiter or waitress, as well as the cashier, at the fast food place. Everybody's going to be uplifted to know that, hey, you know what? This person did something good.
And, you didn't have to do it, and you did it.
Yep.
You instilled positivity there.
Yep. And it's just that simple, right?
Yeah.
Just say something good. This person has really, you know what? I didn't even have to ask her for water. She instantly, as soon as we sat down, just like the other day, it was like the young man, he came over there and filled our glass before my glass got half empty. My glass of water was refilled. I was like, oh my goodness. So much so that I thought it was half empty. Remember, I spilled a little bit on myself. I was like, oh my goodness. But stuff like that where you're like, wow, this young man he's rocking it. You don't have to work at Chick-fil-A to have great customer service. So I think that's critical. I think it's critical that we pass on that stuff to say, let's be positive, because we had some mothers who were resilient.
In spite of everything they had to endure.
Yep. And here we are living to tell the story and watching them continue to bloom.
Yes.
My mom's about to be in her 60s.
Wow.
Your mom's,
in
and
late 70s, yeah.
Yeah, in her 70s. And so here they are, and they're still rocking out, right?
They sure are.
And you can't stop them.
No. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't try to stop them.
No, they're
That's who they are. That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it. And I think that's what makes us as TNT resilient. We're ready to be dynamite on the spot, right? Yes. We're ready to show up with our personalities. We're ready to show up with our hard work and ethic and even our ingenuity, right? And creativity, and say, what can we do? How can I encourage you? What do you need me to do?
Because we're doing exactly what we're talking about. Yep. We reversed it. And we're
Yep.
turning the
Turning
course. Yeah.
That's right, turning the course for things for the good.
For the good.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited about this show. I hope you guys have enjoyed spending some
Yes.
time with us this evening, and know that we are looking forward to spending more time with you. This is the beginning of something beautiful
Yes,
because we are going to rock out. We're going to be talking about some current events. Today, we're focused on the moms and just wanted to provide you with something inspirational and encouraging. So, what's next, Tara? Tell us about what we are talking about next.
Oh, it's these are conversations that we have. We talk about everything from clothing, shoes, obviously, food, big topic, big topic. Yeah. I'm still remembering those pictures of the cakes. Politics, educate, everything. Movie stars we like,
Right.
movies.
Did somebody say Idris? Okay.
Did we talk about Idris Elba?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Okay, we'll have to have a show on that. Maybe he can join us.
Oh, that would be great.
We'll talk about everything. And, what drives us is our faith. Our faith in our God, in our humanity, in each other, and in life.
That's right.
That's the beauty of it. I enjoy being with you, Tabitha, because you stir that up in me. Sometimes when I'm down and I'm trying to stir it up, now I'm at a point where you're stirring me up and I'm just re-energized, and it drives me. I'm at a point where I am driven now.
That's right. And that's what we're supposed to do for each other.
Yes.
And it's like, when you put two magnets together, and if you put the same type of magnet together, it will repel, right? You put a north and a north beside each other, it's going to repel. But when you put a north and a south together, they attract. And it's like, oh my goodness, the explosiveness, the magnetic field of bringing the positive and the negative and saying, you know what? You had a bad day, but guess what? We're kicking the bad out and we're exchanging it for positive, and we're going to kick all of the sorrow out for all of the joy, and we're going to live this best life that God designed for us to. So
thank you, and you are the most magnetic woman.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I did not plan that.
That's the truth. That is the beauty of it. It's the truth. It
It's-
is the truth.
Thank you.
Yes.
We are supposed to be magnetic together. And I think that's the power of being women. We encourage, we uplift, and not just because we know this will be listened to by men also, but if you have a woman in your life, if you are the man, right? And you're saying, I also am positive. I really want to encourage you to write in, tell us about something positive that you're doing, right? Because next month is all about fathers and all about the men and those things, right? This month we're going to talk about women. We're going to talk about fashion. We're going to talk about all those things from the women perspective. But next month on Father's Day weekend, we are going to highlight the fathers. And we talked about this the other day about how fathers give identity. But we're going to talk about that and some of the resilience of the men that we know. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to email us at info@tabathapittman.com with your topics or requests for topics. We are looking forward to sharing this information so that, we can have conversations, because we're all about a good conversation. Right now, we're enjoying some hot tea. And we're going to talk about it. So we'll see you on the next episode of Tea
and T.
Sounds like dynamite, because
it
it
is.
is.